Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Canton Ice House for today's Tri-Valley League matchup between the Medfield Warriors and your Westwood Wolverines. Here this afternoon, starting lineups for Medfield. At left wing, number 10, senior captain Matthew Dixon. At center, number 12, freshman Max Abramson. At right wing, number 5, sophomore Luke Dixon. Starting on the defense, number 4, freshman Owen Fessenden. And number 18, senior Jay Cragen. And starting in goal for the Warriors, number 35, junior Kevin Nee. And please welcome the remaining members of the Medfield Warriors. And now, the starting lineup for your Westwood Wolverines. And left wing, number 7, junior captain Manny Donovan. At center, number 23, junior Connor Blaney. At right wing, number 16, senior Patrick Dalton. Starting on the fence, number 2, junior captain Brian Sullivan. And number 10, sophomore Caleb Fengler. And starting in goal for the Wolverines, number 31, senior Sean Joyce. And please welcome the remaining members of the Wolverines. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you all to please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
All right. Nothing better than a Bill Siebert opening to a game. Gets me fired up. He did it, Evan, 3 years ago when I was playing, and or 20 years ago, I guess, graduated in 2005, and still gets me as fired up as it did back then. We are ready as both teams give a little tap to the goaltenders. When Evan, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
That was good. Worth noting, though, Morgan, two freshmen for the Medfield Warriors starting today. So should be interesting to see what we got. You got some, players on the ice who we most likely haven't seen before. I don't know if the Medfield have any boys that are playing in 8th grade. I know it's common girls hockey, so be interesting to see some new matchups here, but it looks to be a fast-paced start.
Absolutely. So starting lineups for the Medfield Warriors. Owen Fessenden, freshman, and Wolverines off the bat. Matty Donovan steals a loose puck, takes it to the net, and finishes it for another goal in the first 30 seconds.
Or in the first 10 seconds, actually.
Well, when I'm adding the Norwood game in there, that was 30, but this is the second one in 3 games where it was inside the first 10 seconds.
That is what this team does, Morgan. They get off fast. They get off to quick starts. We've seen that now 3 times this year. Every game they've gotten a goal within the first minute of play. It's great hockey. You know, get out to a lead early. You can't get out to a lead earlier than that. So a great start for the Wolverines.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, in 2 of those 3 games, big hit there by Matty Donovan. 2 of those 3 games, I'm going through the lineups. I'm not even looking, and these goals happen. So I got to just keep doing that, I guess. Just start off with the starting lineups, and Wolverines get quick goals. Medfield trying to send it in, blocked by Dalton. He's going to send it in deep. Wolverines going to change it out. On comes the Nolan Lewis line. You got Nolan Lewis, you got Luke Martin, and Ryan Ramiza, a freshman, very talented freshman who's got 2 points already in his early career. Lewis looking around the net as he works it around, looks up top. Shot by Fengler goes wide, but coming down to keep it in is Dempsey. And playing back and forth behind the net was Ramiza and Lewis as Medfield chips into the neutral zone. Well played by Dempsey, take a nice angle. Medfield's going to have to tag up before they send it in. A great start for the Wolverines. Matty Dunfin, as CJ Hancock used to call him, Matty Dunfin, when he didn't know how to say Donovan, with the first goal for the Wolverines.
You know, another thing for the Wolverines now you have to sort of, you know, can you get out to a fast start and get a second goal here? You know, the big thing, this Medfield team is really talented, and you don't expect them to stay at 0 for long here.
And here they are with a look, but a great stick there by Fengler. Looked like Medfield was going to have an opportunity to go on the net, but Fengler closed that angle and got a quick stick on that to clear it out.
But no, I would expect to see, you know, Westwood, you got to keep your foot on the gas here especially. You know, you only have a 1-goal lead. You know, the big thing is, can you create an opportunity for yourself here early and get a second goal?
No question about it. Lewis in front of his bench. Martin gets hit. The door opens as he gets hit. Medfield comes away with it. On the entry is Jack Black. Looking to send it up to his wing. He does, but sends it across the boards. Puck up by the point. Gets out. Nice job by Sebi O'Brien. Able to chip that out. Medfield comes back into it with speed. A big hit there by Colin Johnson as Medfield works it in. A glove save by Sean Joyce. Beautiful glove save off of a backhander. Looks like by number 5, Luke Dixon. And it was a nice early save there by Sean Joyce. Been looking great so far this season.
Yeah, he's had a tremendous season so far. You know, one game shutout so far, and you know, he's had himself a spectacular season. We saw it in the Hopkinton game, and even Norwood. Norwood's a tough opponent. Last year in that game we covered here at the Ice House in Norwood, Westwood let up 8 goals in that game.
Yeah,
so, you know, to come away from an 8-goal game to get to a 2-goal game is a great improvement for the Wolverines.
Just shows the difference that a year makes when it comes to teams. So having this depth this year for the Wolverines, especially these freshmen who've been early contributors, has been key. And then you have sophomores that have gotten, you know, bigger and stronger. Dempsey, who's inserted himself in the lineup, is a huge presence out there. Not only just making big plays, physical and all that, he scored his first goal in the first game of the season.
Yeah, I think that's something we saw last year as well, is where Westwood, you know, they were kind of a young team. They, you know, you had a lot of sophomores on the rotation and on your lines, and, you know, they're a year older, a year experienced, but also, you know, they've hit some growth spurts, and they've gotten bigger and stronger as we have an icing on the rink. And Morgan, that's going to take us to our first side-by-side coverage presented by Natalie Marsh Real Estate, who will be with us for the entire winter season. So thank you, Natalie Marsh, for your support of Westwood High School sports.
Absolutely. Thank you, Natalie. And she is Miss Marsh Milestone Moments. So that has been a lot of fun this year, highlighting our special athletes for some of the great milestones that are ongoing throughout the season.
Had some great moments, too.
And there's some good ones coming up that I feel. And right back to action we go. Puck deep in Westwood territory as both teams trying to battle for possession. Dempsey comes away with it, looking for Donovan on the breakout pass as Sicular on the breakout. He's got Sebi O'Brien for help. Centering attempt, no one there. Coming down to help out is Lucas Willett. He scored his first goal versus Norwood the other night. So shout out to Willett. I heard he's been working hard all year, was on the JV team last year, and then boom, right into the varsity and getting things done for the Wolverines is exactly what you want to see when it comes to development. Dempsey settles it on the far end. He's got a couple Medfield players crashing. He's going to send it up the boards to Sicular, who chips it out, but kept in by number 16, Avery Steen, as Medfield keeps the pressure going.
And like
physical play picking up as well.
I was going to say, we've seen it here pretty early. Medfield's willing to play physical and hard. You've seen a couple checks into the boards already, and you know, that's going to be a key for them all game long, and they're going to try to wear Westwood out and try to, you know, keep them at 100%. This is a team with a lot of stamina, so like we mentioned, that's going to be a big factor for the Wolverines here as we get into play.
Westwood on the forecheck, doing a great job anticipating. So they had Ramiza down in the corner as he's sending it towards the net. That's kicked out. Martin trying to battle for it. Give it over to Lewis. Goes through the center, but comes out, and Medfield going the other way with some speed. Great play by Sullivan, able to stand up the Medfield player right up at the blue line. He stood up Stein as he slowed down that offensive entry. Puck ends up here on the neutral zone on the near side. Lewis takes a hit, but able to advance it as Ramiza trying to battle for it. Medfield coming away with it. Medfield jumping up the far side, a little cross-ice paths as they work the middle. Save by Joyce, another save by Joyce, and then the third one goes in for the goal. Joyce had the initial two saves, and then it looked like it took a deflection off a player in front of the net to work its way into the back of the net to tie this up at 1.
Yeah, really good goal by the Warriors there. You know, just had a great look, and they kept that pressure on. That's what we talked about, fast team, physical team, and you know, they're going to continue to get looks by playing that way. So a good goal for Medfield, but now it's time for Westwood to respond. You know, can you control the possession? You know, they got that early possession when we started, and from that first goal on, it was really Medfield really controlled the puck. So I think that's going to be key for Westwood here.
That was Matthew Dixon on the goal for the Warriors. So Medfield, the type of team that can score very quickly and score a lot very quickly. So as you can see, they very talented on those entries. He came in with some speed. As Westwood works the puck into Medfield territory. Patty Dalton on the far side. He's out there with Matt Donovan as well as Connor Blaney. Patty Dalton and Sean Joyce and Matt Bagazarian are the 3 seniors for the Wolverines on this year's squad. Donovan going to play it down low, try and go up the other side. That's chipped out by James Galvin. A nice move by Blaney into the center ice, creates some more space. Donovan on the entry, he's working it across, serpentine route. Chips it in for Blaney. Blaney in front, passes it to Dalton, and save by Kevin Nee. That was some beautiful creativity down there. Started off with Donovan chipping it down low. Blaney goes after it, and then a nice backhand pass to Dalton on the doorstep. Forced a difficult save by Kevin Nee, the junior goaltender for the Warriors.
Great look by the Wolverines. That's the type of opportunities you want to create for yourself, because those are hard goals to save, but Kevin Nee, excellent goaltender for the Warriors, got a good save there.
Yeah. Wolverines send out the O'Brien line. Oh, what a play there. Sullivan was able to get the puck in the middle of the air, but Medfield forces it back into Westwood territory. Fengler working up the near side. He's got a couple players, goes high off the glass. It's going to work its way into Medfield territory. 2 forecheckers oncoming for the Wolverines. Willett on the far side as the puck goes up to the point. Shot gets through and saved by Nee. Another shot, that's deflected into the corner. So active points so far for the Wolverine as the puck gets up to the blue line. The defense doing a good job getting pucks through. A little collision at center ice between Sicular and Cragen. Sicular gets the puck, sends it in deep. Wolverine's going to change it out. Lewis line coming on. Medfield working their breakout. Nolan Lewis jumps on that puck as it works back into Westwood territory. Martin picks it up with some time and space. Looking up the ice, but goes off the skate of Kenmerer, as I get used to some of the Medfield names. And Sullivan comes away with it. Lewis gets past the red, then Wolverines onside in the blue as he's looking to send it towards the net. Nice play by Lewis to protect the space by being physical there with an oncoming Medfield player looking to hit him. That's what hockey's all about. You got to be able to take a hit to make a play, and Lewis was ready and willing. Right back in they go. Lewis going to lead the forecheck as Medfield just going to send it up ice. It caught a piece of, it looked like Johnson's stick. If it had just gone by, it would have most likely been an icing. They threw some mustard on that one. But both teams going back and forth. That one catches a player on the Westwood bench. There's going to be a whistle, and we'll get a face-off. So early action as both teams knotted up here at 1 at the Ice House. And a great start so far when it comes to the pace. Face-off will be coming into Westwood territory because that is where the puck started before it went out of play. Bellini going to take the draw. He's got Donovan to his right, Dempsey to his left, and then Dalton spread off on the very far side. Medfield wins the draw to send it just wide of the net. Dalton chasing for it, gets a nice hit over on the far boards. They're going to send it right back to Dalton's side. He's got a player crashing in on him, whacked back in by Medfield. Dalton comes away with it again, nice pass. He's got Donovan up ice. As Donovan battling for it, Dalton going to send it right in on Knee. Knee turns it aside as Donovan still battling back in the play, gets back into the zone. Medfield comes away with the possession. Johnson sends it right back in. Johnson, a freshman for the Wolverine, been doing a terrific job. Evan, the younger brother of Abby Johnson, who we've called a lot of games, softball. Abby was a junior captain for the Wolverines last year. Terrific player, third base for your Westwood Wolverines. As Medfield works it in, Sullivan works it out.
Yeah, it's a family affair in Westwood always. You know, there's a lot of siblings on these teams and a lot of relatives. You know, Maddie Donovan, older brother Timmy.
Yeah, as we said, Sullivan knock it in the other end. And older sister Kate Sullivan.
Yep.
One of the most decorated, if not the most decorated players to ever come through the girls hockey program, the leading point scorer in Westwood girls hockey history, and one of the best leaders ever to come through Westwood. Just phenomenal player and athlete. Medfield working it inside. No one there as Sullivan comes away with protecting the net front. He's looking up ice, going to chip it in. Goes towards the net. It's not going to be an icing as Knee plays it and covers it and gets a face-off. With 5 minutes, 33 remaining here in the first period. Both teams knotted up at 1 apiece. And with the Wolverines being home, they have the advantage of seeing who does Medfield put out for lines, and then which lines do you want to counteract that with. So now Westwood sends out their lines. They're going to send out the Lewis line to go up against number 23, Evan Kemmerer, the name that I will get better at throughout the game as I say it more often. The puck ends up back behind the goal line. Medfield working up the far side while Wolverines closing in on it. Big presence as you see Sullivan coming down on you. You know, it's not a person you want to have hit you. He's a big kid, gotten much bigger since last year. A lot of hard work in the off season, the weight room. Had himself quite the golf season as well. And there he is as he takes a spill, and they're going to get our first penalty of the game as Medfield will go to the box and Westwood will get its first power play. And a good effort by Brian Sullivan as he, as a defenseman, was working it up, trying to get some offense going, then draws a penalty.
Huge opportunity for Westwood here. You know, this is a team that doesn't too often make the mistakes and getting themselves into a power play situation. So for Westwood, the big thing is capitalizing here.
Yeah. Owen Mix, the penalty from Medfield. And Westwood opening power play here. So looking to see what they can do here. This is key opportunities in hockey is when you get the power play is trying to maximize that. Being able to move that puck effectively, having one more player on the ice than the other team, and crashing those nets for rebounds as you get good looks to put pucks on net. So I don't think we saw a penalty in the Hopkinton game, so this is our first look at it.
I was going to say, I think we did see a penalty, but it was against us, and we were down the power play.
It was a penalty kill, yeah.
We were on
it's our first glimpse.
Yeah, we don't know if there was one in the Norwood game as well, so at least to my knowledge there wasn't. But
so you got Sullivan up top in the umbrella. You got Blaney off on the right side and Donovan on the left side. Medfield able to clear that out. So it works back into Westwood territory. Donovan gonna pick it up, settle it, as Westwood looks to work it into the neutral zone with speed and then get it into the offensive zone and set up. And there we go, nice play by Sullivan. Pass over to Dalton with a shot just wide right. That was a great look for the senior forward on a beautiful backhanded pass by Sullivan. But one of the most difficult things for a power play, Evan, is the entry. You're going to see teams that are very aggressive, you know, on forcing you to a side, and they're going to try and get that puck to send it down the other end. You see a lot of breakaways for penalty killing teams because they're able to get, really negate that entry, and there's no one on that second layer. So getting it in deep, getting after it, and being able to move the puck around to get your power play going is critical. as Medfield does a good job, they whack that out right back into Westwood territory. Blaney going to go back as Wolverines changing up some of the forwards. Blaney goes to Sullivan. Sullivan back to Blaney. As Blaney chips it over to Nolan Lewis. One of the best in the league at entries. There you go. Right shot and a save. Nice play. That was all started from a nice clean breakout. And Nolan Lewis so good at that, being able to pick up that puck with speed. Saw the ice that they gave him. Typically you want to, when you get in that blue line, you want to, curl, to move the puck. No, he saw a good opportunity there to take it into that, and that was the right decision. And this is good, though, too. You get the face-off where you can win a draw and get the possession that way as well. Medfield wins it right off the bat, and they're able to clear it out with 20 seconds remaining on the power play. So effective penalty kill thus far by the Warriors. Westwood did have the Lewis look early as they're looking to get one more as the penalty is going to expire in 5 seconds. And we are all even. So the penalty has expired. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Puck back in Westwood zone. Medfield has possession. Good stick there by Lewis to chip it away from the front. Shot saved by Joyce. Saved the second one. And a great effort there by Sean Joyce. Back-to-back saves with Medfield right on the doorstep. And remember those ones. Those are some big saves here to keep the score tied at 1-1.
Yeah, that was a huge save for Sean Joyce. You'll see it on the replay there, but there was a great look open if a Medfield player was there. It was, a part of the goal where he would have not been able to get there in time. And, he's able to kick it out and get it just in front where one of the defenders for the Wolverines was able to come and help him out. So a huge save by Sean Joyce. That's going to be one you're going to want to look back at.
Absolutely. Medfield able to steal the puck, sending it right back in. Nice job by Dempsey creating some escape moves. So important when you have defense with the puck to be able to create some space. High IQ play there by Dempsey to take it the other end where he had some more space and time to work it up. Wolverines clear it out. Now they're going the other way. Fengler hits the ice and we have a whistle. I think it's going to be an offside. As Fengler lost his stick, which should bring the face-off right to the near side dot here. Wolverines going to change out their forwards, bring back on the Donovan line with under 2 minutes remaining. The final 2 minutes of the period, we have 1 minute 54 seconds left. Both teams tied at 1 apiece. Goals by Donovan and Dixon. A lot of these kids are very familiar with each other when it comes to the club hockey teams. A lot of them are teammates on certain club teams, so it's always interesting after the game. You see them get pictures with each other or they're catching up with each other because they know each other very well, but they also want to win.
I was going to say, you got to imagine that probably makes them want a little more. Get a win over your buddy. You can hold that over his head for a little while. Yep. So, there's a little bit of a sense of pride in that as well. Plus, you're playing for your hometown. You're up in.
No question about it.
You're repping the W for Westwood and the M for Medfield. And, when you're in that situation, you're fighting for your hometown pride there. So it always makes a good one.
Some fun connections too. Matt Bagazarian's father played for Medfield, so nice fun connection there. And some of these, fathers like we saw, with the Blomquist last year. As looks like Sullivan hits the ice. I see the officials arm up, but I think that's just for the icing as the clock is still running and it stops. You're seeing now more and more towns where fathers had played in the same program as their sons, and they had the same taste for the rivalries as their kids have. So it's we got to see these guys playing in the alumni game together, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of similarities when it comes to the rivalries and their thoughts and feelings towards those rivals. So inside a minute remaining here in the period as Lewis goes back to settle the puck and work the breakout for Westwood. Pass it up to Dempsey. Dempsey finds Martin near side and then a streaking Romiza. Romiza on the entry. He's forced out to the far side. He's trying to send it to Johnson on the point, but a Medfield player closed down. Johnson does a good job of winning the battle and gets a shot on net, and don't underestimate how important that play is. So Johnson keeps it in, gets the shot on net, which is a face-off, but face-off allows you to win it back with 23 seconds. So you have the opportunity to get another offensive play here with 23 remaining in the period. So remember that if the Wolverines can get a puck on net, shot on net, and even a goal. Lewis sends it towards the net. He's got Donovan out there, so they put Lewis on with Donovan and Martin as the puck goes airborne. Sullivan able to locate it. He's working it through a couple players. Goes off the backboards to Fengler. Fengler looking up ice. Trying to go high off the glass, goes over the glass, and that will be a face-off. At high school level, it's not a penalty. At the Bruins in NHL level, that's delay a game, but it's an effective way to play defense. Get that over the glass if you need a face-off.
Yeah.
So 4 seconds remaining here in the first. Donovan going to take the draw up against Dixon. That turned away by Joyce as a puck in the far corner. A couple guys going after it. As we said it, emotional game here as it's going to be physical. It's going to be two teams that want to win, and the emotions will fly high. So that is going to do it after one period of hockey. We are knotted up 1 apiece. Goals by Matt Donovan, scored in the first 10 seconds, and then Dixon, the captain for the Warriors, Luke Dixon. Nope, not Luke. It was Matt Dixon, who scored for the Warriors. So very entertaining first period. Stick around, folks. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back for the start of the second period.
I grew up right here in Islington, wearing the green and white for Westwood High. I wasn't the star quarterback or the Tri-Valley League MVP. I was the guy in the back of the room, learning from the best, filling in where my team needed me. And as a team, we won 2 Super Bowl championships. These years taught me that every role matters. The unsung heroes, the backups, the younger players, they complete the team. And that's the heart of Neroli. From the cooks, to the servers, to the dishwashers, we're a team, built on discipline, sacrifice, and trust, delivering authentic Italian dishes to our community. I'm proud to sponsor our hometown teams, not just the All-Stars, but every player grinding it out, because I've been there. Teamwork built me, it built Neroli, and it's building Islington. So come join us for dinner, and let's cheer on our teams together.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Neroli Ristorante, authentically Italian. And Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
Both teams on the ice as we're about ready to get underway for the second period here at the Canton Ice House. Evan Cardamino, Morgan Donahue, bringing Westwood Media Center coverage of Westwood Boys Hockey, presented by Jessica Hancock Real Estate. And very entertaining first period. Evan, hockey is a game of adjustments, and which team can make, the right adjustments in between periods to take on the opposing team, what they're trying to do, what their system is, and how to maximize your strengths to be able to get that next goal, which in this game is going to be a critical goal.
And I think what you're going to see out of Westwood for adjustments is you're going to see them up the physicality. You sort of saw it towards the end of the first period there, Westwood, and we're going to actually have
some penalties, yeah.
Penalties.
I think it's matching, as
yep,
you're saying.
It is.
You either do none or you do matching, and they're going to go with matching. And it looks like it's going to be sophomore Luke Dixon from Medfield, and then junior Ryan Sullivan for Westwood. We'll see if they do 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. It looks like it's 5-on-5. And the only reason why I mention that is 4-on-4 does make a difference, as you have more ice to work with 2 less players on there. You see a little bit more offensive upside. But the 5-on-5 is business as usual.
But no, as we were mentioning, as we get started here in the second period, I think you're going to see Westwood, they started to pick up the physicality late in the late in the first. You saw some physical play there, but they really started to hammer onto the checks and the body hits there late. I think you're going to see that continue to amp up because that is what Medfield has done well this whole game. They are playing fast. They are playing physical. If they get a shot there.
Nice shot by Matty Donovan, and that's cleared out by Medfield. Some good early pressure. And then Matt Donovan, the first one to get the puck, as the ice still a little bit wet down in Westwood's defensive zone. Medfield sent it towards the net. That goes wide, goes off the backboards, up to the point, gets out as Dalton's chasing after it and comes away with it. Trying to make a move towards the net, but well played by Medfield defender. Dalton looking, finds Blaney's shot, that's blocked. Goes back up to Fengler, shot on net, turned away by Nee. As Wolverines getting some good action here early in the second period.
Morgan, going to go back to the ice you mentioned as we have a good look there for Lewis. The ice, talk about the Zamboni here at Canton Ice House. Usually I cut the in between the periods out of the games, as you know.
Yeah.
And usually when we do that, there's about a 5-minute period where the ice sort of starts to dry after the Zambonis come off before, we get back into play. About a minute between when we started the second period here and when the Zamboni got off the ice. So, it's a bit of a different ice. It's a little, you have to kind of adjust to it. And this rink has been known to have puddles. You see it especially in the neutral zone, right on the line in the center of the ice. So, something to deal with as the ice is starting to solidify a little more here. You can kind of see it, but that first couple minutes is going to cause for some issues, and you kind of have to adjust to it.
Yeah, you need that ice to melt. It's interesting, the science behind skates on ice. What actually happens is the blade melts the ice, and that's how you're able to create, the skating movement as you're moving your feet. It's that pressure with the blade on the ice melts it, which helps create some momentum.
I like the science lesson we get here too. A little.
There's an interesting. Who's the guy? He's like a NASA scientist. Neil.
Does he do?
Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Look it up. He talks about it, I believe, on the Joe Rogan show.
Gotcha.
But he talks about the science of the skates on the ice and how it melts it and how you need to sharpen your edges to be able to maximize the most out of how you can skate out there and the speed and the angles and all that. As the face-off goes right in on Nee. Nee able to cover that, gets the face-off, or to earn another face-off. Sebi O'Brien on the draw. Been a very great, good center so far for the Wolverines. And that shot is blocked from the point. Fengler plays it off the boards. And then Sickler chips it up ahead. Medfield sends it right back in. They're going to say no icing, goes off a stick. I don't know if it was a Westwood or a Medfield player, but plays into the back, the near side of the Westwood defensive end. Shot from the point goes wide. Medfield trying to center it. Joyce chips it outside, still loose. Going to send it at the net again. That was how Medfield had their first goal, was kind of just throwing it towards the net from behind the line and took a ricochet that went in. So they're going to keep doubling down on that as, hey, good things happen when you put the puck towards the net. That shot on net, saved by Joyce and turned away. Some good positioning there by Fengler to help clear that out. As Galvin looking to work it up the far side, that's blocked by Dixon. Dixon works it up to the point, gets through. There might be too many men on the ice. No call, as Westwood bench not happy about that.
It was close there for the Warriors.
Yeah, they were playing the puck right then and there as Joyce saves it and covers it up, and we'll get a face-off. But yeah, Coach Matt Siebert not happy about that. Medfield was playing the puck right in front of their bench with 6 on the ice, and that's a clear-cut too many men. That's where it's called, is right in front of the bench when you have players coming on the ice, and when you have the puck on your stick, that is black and white play as the puck is dropped. Loose puck in the center, saved by Joyce, cleared out by Johnson. Big play there by the freshman Johnson as the puck rebound went to an open area where Medfield could get a stick on it, and Johnson able to jump on it first. Donovan shot off the side of the net. The water bottle took a hop. It looked like it stayed on the net as Westwood getting in on the puck battles. Sent out by Medfield, going to work towards the line. Is it going to be an icing? It says the back official had the hand up, and the whistle will bring that face-off back into Westwood territory, or Westwood's offensive territory. As the pressure, Westwood putting the pressure up, forcing some icings, which is good to see.
And Morgan, we're going to go to our second side-by-side here now, presented by Top Legend Barbershop. They've they joined us with the Holliston football game, and they're going to be with us for the entire winter season. So thank you to Top Legend.
Oh my goodness, Amir and Elias, the best in the business. Shot by Blaney goes wide. Evan, I got my hair cut there the other day, and I'm a happy guy.
I've seen some of their social media posts. They do a good job, and
they are the best.
One of the many businesses that support us throughout the entire winter season.
Yes.
You have Arch and Neroli, who are with us for the entire year of the 2025-26 sports seasons.
Yes.
You got Jessica Hancock Real Estate.
Annie Alcock was great.
Annie Alcock was great. The Maze Boys. CJ
yeah.
Hancock on the bench right now, one of the Maze Boys.
Yeah. But thank you to everyone that has partnered with the Westwood Sports on Westwood Media Center. And a face-off near side here. One back by the Wolverines. Sullivan flattens it, goes up off the far side. We get a whistle. Not sure what the whistle was for, but the face-off will be right outside the Westwood bench.
Yeah, I didn't get a great look on what the call was, but
it's going to be a face-off with Sebi O'Brien on the draw, going up against number 13, Jack Blake. Puck here in the near side neutral zone. A couple midfield players able to block it. Sickler comes away with it. Sebi O'Brien working it across, trying to put it deep, battling for it. As the puck working up the near side, Sullivan able to get a stick on it, loose in front of the net, cleared out by Medfield. And a whistle as they believe the net is off. I'm going to reset the pegs there, which will give us a face-off in the offensive zone. I'm going to change out the D. Oncoming is Dempsey as well as Galvin. And then I'm going to bring out the Nolan Lewis line. James Galvin for the Wolverines. We had his father, the president of Westwood Youth Hockey, Ed Galvin, on the Westwood Living Sports Show. It was a great episode. And you know what? Very deserving Brown Brothers Play of the Month was the Wreath Across America.
Absolutely. We were there last weekend. Actually, we got some of the shots from it. It was a great ceremony, a great, cause. And Westwood Youth Hockey all showing out and, putting wreaths on graves of veterans of the armed forces and, once again, teaching them the importance of, what those brave men and women fought for this country. So always a fun time. And you mentioned Westwood Living Sports Show. What a fun time we had with that show. We had our most recent one this past Wednesday with, some great guys, some legends, Mike Reese, Trevor Haas of the Globe, who we actually, I believe, was here.
Yeah.
With this game, he was covering the Zavarian game.
He's covering the Zavarian Duxbury game prior to the episode.
Yeah, so.
And Kathy Delaney-Smith.
Another friend of the show at this point, of all the shows at this point.
She has been terrific. Shot on net by Martin. Good save there by Nee as Medfield looking to create some pressure in the Westwood zone. Trying to send it towards the net, but well defended was Galvin on the back door. Forced the puck down low, centering it, and chipped away off a good stick by Westwood goalie Sean Joyce. Joyce then, again, gets the glove on it as the puck goes off the side of the net, and we'll get a face-off. And then Ariel D'Angelo.
Yes.
She was fantastic. Some great advice when it comes to finances and setting up financial freedom for yourself for the long term and what are things you can do to get ahead.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was fun. But back to the Wreaths Across America. Really love what that means. There's Veterans Day, there's Memorial Day. But just making sure that we're not forgetting how special our veterans are it was awesome about that whole ceremony itself, where we're learning, we're honoring, and we're remembering, how special our veterans are today, yesterday, and to tomorrow. So,
it's great because I think everyone knows at least someone who either served or, knows someone who has served. My grandfathers both served. I'm sure you have relatives who served as well. So, it's important to learn about what they did and what they sacrificed for us. And,
no question about it.
Yeah, it's a great ceremony and, teach the next generation. It was, very well put together by Westwood Youth Hockey.
I had the opportunity to go to Pearl Harbor last year. As a puck working in front of the net, it's loose. Matt Donovan tracks it down. He's trying to go off the glass, but blocked and kept in by Medfield. And Patty Dalton sends it up. I think it might be an icing, as a little bit too much on that one. But Evan, I had the opportunity to go to Pearl Harbor last year, and I look at Pearl Harbor in that event much differently now, far differently now than I did prior to it. To really go to see it live and to hear the stories and to see the USS Arizona, to go on the USS Missouri, my goodness, it hits a lot differently, and the profound respect you come away is incredible. Shot on net by Sickler, and that is saved by Knee, and we're going to get a face-off in the Medfield territory. But yeah, I mean, Pearl Harbor was kind of like this historical event, and obviously it was a horrible day and all that, but to go there, the emotions, you feel them when you're at the presence. Similar to Normandy as well.
Yeah.
As the puck in the far side, Wolverines working away for possession. 2-on-2 action there in the corner as the puck works its way towards the middle of the ice. Lucas Willett send it down low to Sebi O'Brien as the Wolverines get a little cycle game going, which is great to see. Keeping the possession going, looking for some lanes, and keeping the physical game going as both of them are, Willett and O'Brien laying some physical hits down low, and this is what you like to see, those puck battles. You're not going down without a fight for the possession, which forces something like this, an icing going the other way. So that is a great shift that head coach Matt Siebert is going to love, is, the Sebi O'Brien line goes out there, and they are making it difficult for Medfield, and they're using their depth at the same time. So, you have the Lewis line, you have the Donovan line that are getting their rest, as the O'Brien line out there is battling it out. So really productive.
Yeah, I mean, and the big thing is when you get your lines rolling like that, you keep the legs fresher and you keep the players fresher. If you have 3 lines, we talked about that last season, especially Westwood had 3 lines that they could, roll at any given game. So one of the things you saw was that they tended to have, fresher legs late in games, and that's going to be huge against teams like Medfield. We saw it in the King Philip game last year in the playoffs, stuff like that. So Westwood having those 3 lines is huge, and it's important to get them rolling, early and see if you can get them working. And Siebert does a great job of doing that. He's always keeping that, on top of his mind and seeing what he has here. As they have a good look there.
Lewis working towards the net. Ramiza sending it towards the middle of the ice. That's picked up by Stein. As Medfield comes away with it, going to send it in deep into Westwood territory. They're going to keep their lines out there as battling for it on the far side. Nice hit by Sullivan. Fengler working it up near far side to Martin. Lewis has the puck and going to settle it. Chips it ahead. And they're going to change up the forwards as a stretch pass up the ice to Dixon. Dixon going to work it in on the near side. He's held off there by Fengler and hit by Sullivan, and Joyce covers it up for the face-off. So Wolverine defense doing a great job of taking away space, but finishing checks, which is so important, because if you do it the right way, late in the third period, it feels like a boxing match where you're just worn down, you got bruises from, your opponent just finishing the check every time you're trying to get something going in the offensive zone. Dixon on the draw, going up against Blaney. Dalton battling for it as Medfield brushes it back into the zone. Gets rimmed around, looking on the back door, but too hard on that pass. And also well defended by the Wolverine defense. That was a strong pass from the far side towards the back door. I think it was Dixon who was there on the back door, the lefty. But well defended by the Wolverines to make sure that that puck wasn't going diagonally right. Back to the draw. A stalemate. And works out to the boards. Centering attempt, that's blocked. Blaney sends it up the boards. It's played by number 4, Owen Fessenden. Medfield still looking for the front of the net. Medfield looking for the players as is a player right now in the front of the net, but Wolverine's able to cover that ground. Shot was blocked by Blaney and coming up a little hobbled on that, but able to skate it off a little bit. The key is when you get hit like those on shots, you want to get your feet moving to kind of get that blood flowing as fast as you can to help make it feel more normal.
Right.
And especially if your legs starting to feel numb after you get hit. Like Charlie horses, it's they happen many, many times throughout the season. That puck batted to the side by Sullivan. Blaney gonna send it airborne into Medfield territory. Wolverines going to change up their forwards. A lot of room for Medfield to work the breakout, but the pass is just a bit off. It goes off the back of the foot of Dixon. Dixon then sends it into Westwood territory and is going to be an icing. So 5 minutes, 57 remaining here in the second period. Both teams knotted up at 1. And a couple of opportunities for both teams. No one able to see the back of the net thus far this period.
Yeah, we've seen the defenses for both teams slow down here in the second period, and they've kind of brought the game. They've turned it from more of a offensive battle to a defensive battle. We've seen some good shots here early, but the defenses for both teams are really controlling and eliminating those opportunities that other teams could get. So, it'll be interesting to see how they respond here as Westwood's getting good pressure. And
it's Sebby O'Brien line again, who's just been grinding it out there. And really just playing some good, tight checking hockey, making it really difficult on the puck battles. As the puck works its way into the neutral zone and then into Medfield territory as they look to regroup it. Sickler there able to keep it in as he's working it towards the center of the ice. Puck knocked loose and then sent right back. And check out the forecheck. They're getting right after it as they're anticipating it very well. Sent right back in by Sullivan. Going to work its way on the near side as Sebby O'Brien chasing after it. Gets to it first and takes a hit to send it back behind the net. And then there you go, Lucas Willett doing a great job. This third line is the energy line as Willett gets a shot and then blocked by Medfield. So good look there by the Wolverines as they're creating some offense off of some hard work. Good grit there by the O'Brien line. Sebby O'Brien, Lucas Willett, Ben Sickler. It's a young line. It's basically all sophomores. Sickler is a junior. So O'Brien sophomore, Willett sophomore, Sickler junior. And the faceoff brings it to the center dot. Medfield wins it back and into Westwood territory. Dempsey on the puck goes backhand, no look right to Romiza onto the stick of a streaking Nolan Lewis. Nolan Lewis knocked away from it. As Medfield working up the far side, they have 2 on Westwood's 1. Shot from the outside and a score. That's a goal by number 5, Luke Dixon. He's able to capitalize on the 2-on-1 and puts in the back of the net to put the Warriors up 2-1. So Luke Dixon, the sophomore, gets the goal as Medfield was able to come away with the puck.
I believe that's his second of the day.
No, his brother had the first one.
The Dixon brothers having a great day, though.
Yeah.
It was a great look. You saw the opportunity there. It was a good 2-on-1 look, and they just set the play up and capitalized. That's a big opportunity. But now for Westwood, it's a matter of not allowing anything else to happen here as you see Medfield take it in.
As puck goes up to the point, it's sent right back in by Cragen. Donovan comes away with it, looking ahead for Blaney. Sent right back in by Medfield. A whistle called. I believe it is offside.
That's what I have as well.
Yeah, is Medfield going to change out their defense? We have 4 minutes 11 remaining here in the second period. Medfield able to get the first goal of the period. Luke Dixon to put them up 2-1. We're going to have the face-off near side as Medfield will change out their forwards as well. Face-off one back by Blaney. Great anticipation by Steen, who's able to jump on a loose puck. Westwood, though, sends it back up the other way. Matt Donovan looking for Blaney. Blaney in front. Save! Big save by Kevin Nee on a great offensive look by Donovan and Blaney. As Nee was able to get the pad on that to keep the game at 2-1. That was the biggest save of the game so far. Medfield working it in. Jack Blake, shot and saved by Joyce, which will get a face-off. We got a couple different players getting separated from each other as the emotions are still high.
It's one of these types of games where you expect to see a little extracurricular activity on the ice. It's like we mentioned earlier, it's a a passionate rivalry, we'll call it, where they both teams really want to get a win over each other. These teams are, it's one of those games that you just circle on the calendar. So for the for both teams, it's expect to see that a little bit, especially as we get later and later in this game. Usually the third period, is where we.
We're going to have a penalty here. It's going to be on Westwood for tripping. I'm going to say interference, actually, in the corner. So Westwood will go on the penalty kill. Sebi O'Brien called for the penalty.
And this is going to be huge for the Wolverines to get the penalty kill here. You're already down 1. It's getting late here in the second period. Can you eliminate or can you minimize any more damage that the Warriors can do before getting out of the second period? This is a good team. They don't give up easy goals.
Yeah.
So, the big thing here is, can you get a penalty kill here and maybe get out of this period unscathed, only down 1? It's a lot more of an easier matchup to sort of work with. This hockey's a quick sport. We can see things turn around quick, but this is one of those teams that you really don't want to get a hole in quick, here late.
Shot outside, clean save by Joyce, gets the face-off. And key player typically you want your best player on penalty kills to be your goalie. And Joyce looking sharp there. Westwood has, for forwards, they have Martin and Lewis out there on the PK, and on the defensive side, they have Fengler and Sullivan. Sullivan gets the draw, sends it right back down the ice. So nice clean win by Westwood, sending it down the ice. That'll clear off about 20 seconds or so, maybe more. They're doing a good job on the forecheck, which is forcing Medfield to regroup and start over as they're looking to break it out cleanly. Great job by Lewis and Martin together. Good tandem. Lewis gets the stick on that. So, 1-on-3. Lewis very disruptive right now as Medfield's trying to work it out. And then here we go. Potential icing. Yes, which will bring the face-off all the way back. So great job by Lewis and Martin, who made it very difficult for Medfield to break it out. Force an icing, which will bring a face-off back into Medfield territory.
Yeah, it's huge for the Wolverines right now. You've already gotten about 50 seconds off the board here in this penalty kill. And, it's not just about the penalty kill either here. It's the next 2 minutes and 37 seconds of this period. It's a short period, like we mentioned. You don't want to, if you're Westwood, you don't want to let up anything here late because you have to stew on that in between the period breaks. So.
Ooh, Donovan takes a big hit in the corner. No call. But he had the right idea there where he was looking to just put the puck in between his skates in the corner and take a little hit, just to keep that puck in between his legs and kill clock. As inside a minute remaining in the power play left, 48 seconds to be exact. 2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the second period. Wolverines doing a good job. Haven't only seen the one shot on the power play thus far, but making it very difficult to work through the neutral zone and break it into and set up their power play. Shot on net, saved by Joyce, went off the cage, and he's able to get the glove on that and the whistle.
Huge save by Sean Joyce there, and that's big. You get a big save there. That was a good shot by Medfield, and you get 28 seconds here left in the penalty kill. So, big thing. Can you get the puck and just kill a few seconds here? It's going to be in your zone, but
penalty kills are momentum shifters. So if you
are.
get a big penalty kill, that's some good momentum in your side for the Wolverines. So 28 seconds, looking to get out of this unscathed. Shot, that's blocked by Sullivan, goes towards the far side. And then coming away with it is Lewis. Lewis going one-on-one. Working it inside, shot, and a save by Nee. But a beautiful play by Lewis. Chips the puck out, was able to use his speed in the neutral zone, going one-on-one, made a nice move and gets a good shot on net, saved by Kevin Nee. Nolan Lewis, what a play.
And he's really great when you get him on those one-on-one opportunities. He has great moves with the puck and the stick, and he can just kind of make you miss, and that's where he's dangerous, and that's what you see out of his game a lot. He just has great stick control, great puck control, and he's going to create opportunities for himself playing like that.
An exceptional talent, and that was on full display there on the penalty kill, no less. 16 seconds remaining. Midfield wins it back. Lewis so effective early on in the PK of making it really difficult for Medfield trying to break it out. He forces them to go back, and he takes away some good angles where, boom, you get Martin who jumps in there to send it right back in as the penalty's expired. So all even, great kill by the Wolverines, and they're back to 5-on-5. So momentum for the Wolverines. Not only did they kill the penalty, but they had some good offense that came from it on a nice look by Lewis.
it's a huge momentum shifter for the Wolverines. I mean, you know, that could have been a dangerous opportunity that we can talk about that last minute. Still have a minute left on the clock here. Can't let anything up, but like, you know, it swings momentum in your favor, and you know, it's just, it takes a little bit of the wind out of the sail of Medfield.
Yeah. So keeps it a 1-goal game. As Evan mentioned, less than a minute remaining as the puck's working towards the back end line for the Wolverines, and that's going to be an icing call, as the Wolverines will have a face-off in Medfield's territory with 48 seconds left here in the second. Looks like head coach Matt Siebert going to keep Blaney and Donovan as well as Dalton out there for the forwards. They got Johnson and Dempsey out there on defense. Really good to see. You see Johnson out there. He's won the trust of assistant coach Dan Ferrari to get out there the last minute. That's a huge honor to have that ability, being out there with a minute remaining as a youngster. Donovan with the shot. That's blocked. Blaney was trying to send it towards the net. And we get a whistle. It's going to be a penalty on Medfield. Wolverines will have a power play. They'll have 40 seconds of the power play left here in the second period, and the rest will go into the third period, but a good way to try and maximize the last 40 seconds to tie this thing up going into the second.
This could be a huge momentum swinger for the Wolverines. Can you get something here quickly in the last 30 seconds? If not, you still have a minute 20 at the start of the period, and you know where we've seen Westwood thrive is on the face-offs. On the face-offs at the start, as Westwood gets a shot there, but on those face-offs at the start of periods, especially the first period, that is where they have thrived all season. So that's going to be kind of the key here for Westwood. It's a great opportunity for them.
So interference is the penalty. 22 seconds remaining here as Lewis comes away with it, and there's a penalty called on the Wolverines. It's going to be on Fengler, which is going to negate the power play, which not a great call in my opinion, but that is going to make it 4-on-4 for a minute 39. Then Medfield will have a short power play, about
20 seconds.
21 second power play. So we're going to go 4-on-4 for the last 19.2. We'll take you into the third period. Donovan will take the draw for Westwood. Looks like Jack Blake will take it for Medfield. Puck over to the near side. Lewis has it with some space. Looking towards the net on a centering pass to Donovan, just goes off his stick. What a pass and look there. Just went off the stick of Donovan as they were streaking towards the net. That might have been the best look of the period for the Wolverines. And as we mentioned, that's what you see on these 4-on-4s when you have more ice. You see looks like that. So that is going to do it for the second period. The difference maker is Luke Dixon, who put Medfield up 2-1. And we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Westwood Media Center coverage of Westwood Boys Hockey, presented by Jessica Hancock Real Estate.
I grew up right here in Islington, wearing the green and white for Westwood High. I wasn't the star quarterback or the Tri-Valley League MVP. I was the guy in the back of the room, learning from the best, filling in where my team needed me. And as a team, we won 2 Super Bowl championships. These years taught me that every role matters. The unsung heroes, the backups, the younger players, they complete the team. And that's the heart of Neroli. From the cooks, to the servers, to the dishwashers, we're a team, built on discipline, sacrifice, and trust, delivering authentic Italian dishes to our community. I'm proud to sponsor our hometown teams, not just the All-Stars, but every player grinding it out, because I've been there. Teamwork built me, it built Neroli, and it's building Islington. So come join us for dinner, and let's cheer on our teams together.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Neroli Ristorante, authentically Italian. And Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
Welcome back, folks. We have a fresh ice surface ready for the third period, as both teams will be 4-on-4 for the first minute and 20. Medfield will have a 21-second power play after that, as they have the lead, and immediately the puck goes right into Westwood bench. We'll have to see the replay on that. How did that end up in the bench up there? That's a strong face-off.
Yeah. Well, Medfield knows, Westwood's good on these face-offs. They came out flying. They're going to come out playing hard. That's what they have to do to counteract that.
Big hit by Brian Sullivan, excuse me. And there you see the puck, how it stopped right there on the wet ice. That is always a factor here at the Ice House in between periods, or to start a new period, is the ice not fully fully frozen.
Right, we mentioned it in the second period. Once again, same thing happened there, similar. Oh, and a big collision there.
And I think the wet surface there caused Matt Donovan to lose his footing.
Yeah, once again, the Zamboni came off the ice about a minute later. We're in play now. And
what a stick there by Brian Sullivan. It looked like it was going to be a point-blank look by Max Abramson, but Sullivan gets the stick on it to deflect it out of play.
You can even see, Morgan, in front of the net on Sean Joyce's left-hand side, you can see a little bit of sitting water, and, you see a little bit in front of the center ice as well. The ice hasn't, fully,
hasn't fully frozen yet.
No, so it's, you're probably going to see for the next couple minutes here, until the ice kind of sets, you're going to see the puck kind of stopping and acting funny here.
Yeah, I think more so the advantage happens for the offensive teams, because it impacts the team trying to break out, and then all of a sudden you might have a puck going the other way with a breakaway, or just not a breakaway, but no one on you. Wolverines work it up top. Ryan Remiza, nifty moves to get the puck into the zone, as we are still 4-on-4 for another 17 seconds. Westwood working up the far side. Nice pass by Sullivan up to Remiza. Remiza, the first forechecker out there, forces Medfield up the far side as the Westwood Medfield penalty expires. Now Medfield going to have a 20-second power play. Shot from the outside goes wide. That was interesting. The player who had the Medfield penalty went right to the bench, which is about 5-6 seconds of going to the bench without having a player that could have gone right into the zone for the power play. Not that it makes too much of a difference, but helped Westwood out. And now we are 5-on-5, so the penalties have expired. We're back to even strength in a one-goal game here in the third period. This is what TVL rivalry hockey is all about. Always close games. A team that is fresh in the third period, really has the big-time advantage. And rolling three lines is critical when it comes to Tri-Valley League matchups.
Yeah, Morgan, we could be gearing up for a classic TVL game here. This is one of those games you might, have one goal game. Both teams are playing absolutely hard, looking to get, any opportunity they can. They're playing 110% right now, and, it's going to be one of those things that is going to come down in the last minute, the last 2 minutes.
Willett chasing down the far side. That's knocked up the boards. Westwood keeps it in, trying to set a far side, knocked out by Medfield.
The big thing for Westwood is continuing to play physical. It has worked to their advantage, and when they've, started these periods physical and they've started fast and matching that Medfield speed, it has worked for them. So that's going to be, I think, the key for them there is to keep that physicality up, even as you continue to get tired late here in this game.
No question about that. Westwood forced an icing on Medfield, and they're going to get an offensive zone faceoff. Matt Donovan going to take the draw on the left side. Blaney seems to take him on the right. As Blaney looking to shoot, that just goes off the glove of Nee, who has been pretty darn good today. Both goaltenders have been very sharp, as they've kept this a very close game.
Yeah, it's been this game has really turned into a bit of a defensive battle here late. It's really been a matter of goalie versus goalie, Nee versus Joyce, and, both goalies have done a tremendous job today, and, Medfield's starting to get some shots there. That one goes well over the net.
Another good stick by the Wolverines. Fengler, I can't tell you how important those are, Evan, is for defense. To get sticks on pucks, that was a streaking Medfield player, and for Fengler to get a stick on that and to get it not even anywhere near the net is huge. And if you can have defenders that know how to time that and jump on that like that, that is all the difference in the world. shot gets deflected and then covered by Joyce. We'll get a face-off right back to where they took the original. Blaney going to take the draw here. So we see Blaney and Donovan picking and choosing where they'll take the draw. Big save there by Joyce. That was off a loose puck, and Westwood going the other way. Huge save there by the senior goalkeeper. As Donovan, physical play, earns the puck back to himself. Saved by Knee on a near side shot. And that was a hand pass, which will be a whistle. And that's going to bring a face-off back deep into Westwood territory. So a big save by Joyce. It was a loose puck that Medfield was able to jump on. I believe it was Max Abramson who had that look. Joyce got the near side pad on it, and then Westwood was able to go the other way, streak up the other side. Donovan getting a nice shot on net. Clean breakout by the Wolverines. Lewis trying to get around the Medfield defense. He's battling with Owen Mix, one of the captains for Medfield. Dempsey works it D to D. Puck goes off the back line. Shot by Romiza, saved by Knee. That was a shot that went wide of the net and took a nice bounce right where Romiza was streaking towards the net. Shot and then located nicely by Knee to get the save.
Great look by the Wolverines there, get the rebound too, and, create a second chance opportunity for yourself. That's what it's all about, create those opportunities. Be there, get the puck, hits a big collision in the boards right there in front of both benches.
That was a big play by Johnson. He knew that the Medfield player had the angle, and he took the body to slow that down and to also help his players get back into the play. So a very unselfish play by Johnson, putting the team first on that play to make sure that the puck was going to be well taken care of. And now we're going to get the puck sent down in Westwood territory, and that is going to be an icing. And Evan, we all have mentors in our professions, and you had a pretty good one in college that got some really cool recognition.
I did. I got to give a shout out to Rodney Vero, my mentor. He just was awarded the Silver Circle honor by the New England chapter of the National Academy of the Television Arts and Sciences. Is the same organization that awards the Emmys, to recognize individuals who have made significant contributions in television. And, I can't think of someone who deserves it more than Rodney. I know he's probably not tuning into a hockey game. He has a lot of alumni he does, but he taught me everything I know about video and television, and he really, helped jumpstart my career. And I couldn't have done, anything we've done as we see a goal almost go into Westwood's net there. But I just got to say, congratulations, Rodney. You deserve it. And, mentors are important. It's
totally.
We talk about it all the time, to bring it back to Westwood here, the leadership is so important. You see a lot of these, culture, it's all about, the culture here in Westwood and establishing a culture of excellence. And, I can tell you right now, a lot of these guys probably still close with some of those senior teammates from last year and learning lessons. So, it's one of the questions we ask on the Wolverine Report a lot, and it's really big for any successful program, not just sports, but in life, and I was fortunate to have one. I'm sure you've had someone as well, and it's key, and that's why you see Westwood having sustained success over a long time.
Absolutely. Well, shout out Rodney. Congratulations, and thank you also, Rodney, for we got a good one here in Evan Cardamino, and a lot of it comes to the great mentorship and knowledge you put in our guy over here. So shout out and thank you.
Still up in Bangor, Maine, still teaching students. He's been at NESCOM for, probably
God's country, Bangor, Maine, baby.
Yeah, up there for 25 years. He's had alumni go on to places like ESPN and, working all across the country, working in sports, Game Creek Video, some of the biggest broadcasters in sports. And, he's been a launching career for so many. And
big save there by Joyce. Medfield able to jump on a turnover. That was a shot by Dixon, who had the second goal for Medfield. But also Bangor, Maine, the home right now of Luke Chandler.
Yeah, it's up at Husson. Hey, there's a chance he runs into Rodney up there,
Absolutely.
Same school. So I bet you, if he takes a class at NESCOM, he's gonna see Rodney at some point in that building.
And then life will come full circle.
It will.
Nolan Lewis on the draw, wins it back cleanly. Joyce sets it off to the side as it went towards the net, and a puck battle ensuing on the near side. working up towards the point. Westwood able to whack it out of the zone. Ends up in the neutral zone, still not gathered yet, as Westwood able to jump on it and send it into Medfield territory. Sicular, the first forechecker, with Lewis anticipating on the far side. Fengler fungos it back and picked off by Medfield. Medfield trying to maximize their neutral zone play. As we've seen a lot of rims tonight, both teams just trying to rim it around to win possessions and then get some open looks. That was a centering pass, well defended by Fengler, who jumped on that look. And what a save there by Joyce. Gets it with the glove. He was on the far side post as the puck was working his way towards the opposite post and able to glove that like a shortstop.
Owen Joyce has been instrumental for the Sean Joyce has been instrumental throughout this season, to the Wolverines. He's had every game we've covered so far, he has had at least one huge save like that, and I would say that's probably his, right now, save of the game for the Wolverines. And continue to see what he does. He is one of those guys that he's had an exceptional season.
Yeah, he's been sharp. Gets the glove on that one. We'll get a face-off. 7 minutes 54 remaining here in the third. Medfield still up 2-1. Sebi O'Brien on the draw. The O'Brien line has been outstanding today, providing great depth for the Wolverines, keeping fresh legs out there, which are going to be critical in the last 5 minutes of the third period.
Absolutely, we talk about that a lot. Is staying fresh, and when you have three lines, you can keep a little more fresh. It goes the same for Medfield too. They're going to continue to stay fresh. It's just a matter now at this point of who has the most stamina, who can just continue to keep pushing.
Morgan Cox out there, the junior, son of Brian Cox. Brian, Hall of Famer for Westwood, hockey player, great football player as well for the Wolverines.
Another family connection for the Wolverines.
Yes.
One of the many that we always end up talking about.
And that's what makes Westwood special, is people stay here. And that'll be an icing called on Westwood, which will bring the face-off back to the left of Sean Joyce. As the pace still very much back and forth here, almost halfway through the third. As Medfield up 2-1 off the goal by Luke Dixon in the second period to break the tie. One back by Medfield as they send it around. A couple players battling for it on the far side. No clear winner yet as Lewis toe drags it back to James Galvin. Galvin sends it D to D to Dempsey. They're going to try the near side. And great job by Martin, able to get that puck off the boards fairly cleanly as Remiza from the outside sends it on net and saved by Nee. What a great it's the example of offense comes from a good breakout in the defensive zone. That was a difficult play to make by Martin as it was rimmed around. He got it cleanly and then gave it right to Lewis, who found Remiza on the far side to get that shot on net.
And that pass by Lewis was set up as we see another shot on net there.
Remiza again.
Lewis set that pass up really nicely with a good move, as we're going to see one of the scoreboards in the back have the errors.
It bounces back.
It does.
The right side scoreboard is the one to follow.
We saw that in our last game, but Nolan Lewis, like we mentioned earlier, is great footwork, great stick work, and because of that, he creates those opportunities. You saw a really good pass there on that play to set them up in good territory. But like you mentioned, it all starts in the breakout. When you get a good breakout going, you create those opportunities for yourself. We saw that second Medfield goal was off of that breakout opportunity, and they had a 2-on-1 opportunity. So
that shot goes wide. Does it get its way out of the zone? No, kept in, or they're going to say hand pass. So a hand pass called on Medfield, which will bring the face-off outside. And I think it's going to be all the way into the Medfield defensive zone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
It will. So
a good opportunity for the Wolverines now here as well.
Yep.
Brings it right back into your zone, creates another opportunity. We've seen a couple times.
And they're going to check in over here at ice level, as I think they're going to just mention the challenges with the scoreboard and say that, I think last game we had, they mentioned the true score will be at the scorer's table. So they'll see it and they'll notify the horn, but you might not see it on the scoreboard, as we've seen through some of these games. It can go blank at times.
Yes.
So the true score will be at the scorer's table. As puck back in play, centering attempt That gets deflected. Blaney was looking for Donovan and Dalton. Sullivan able to keep it in, sends it towards the net. Strong stick there by Fessenden, who keeps it away and then works it up the ice. Back in Westwood territory, Sullivan picks it up. Trying to send it towards the middle of the ice. That's picked off by Medfield, but Westwood coming away with it. Matt Donovan just misses it, but he has Dalton there on the backup. Donovan comes away with it. Shot just goes over the net. That was blocked by a Medfield player as the Wolverines had some numbers there. So those are critical. In these close games,
Westwood starting to
maximizing on the opportunities, this late, you got to be able to capitalize on them.
Absolutely. They're starting to get those good looks, but it's about the capitalizing. Can you actually get a good look to convert? So far they've got some great ones right there.
Donovan with the look there and just misses wide left. Puck goes to the point, that's blocked and gets into the neutral zone. Sullivan waits for Westwood to come back out to send it right back in. And they're still offside, so they'll need to tag up and they'll change off the forwards. And Medfield works it up. Looking for the middle, and they're going to just send it behind the net. Max Abramson. And it's covered up, and we'll get a face-off. 4 minutes, 54 remaining. 2-1 game. Game has been everything as advertised. And is what you like to see when it comes to TVL hockey, these closely contested games between two teams that have bright futures when it comes to hockey in March.
Absolutely. You're looking at both these teams right now. They're fast-paced teams. They play hard, and they, that's what you expect to see out of teams like this. And,
Big saves there by Joyce.
One of the big things I've liked out of this Westwood team is just the ability to hang. Remember, we've said it a couple times, this Medfield team is coming off of a state championship, and they've returned a lot of those players.
Yep.
So, Westwood's hung around here pretty late, and that's a good sign of things to come. Obviously, Westwood wants to come away with a win. There are no moral victories per se, but there are good lessons you can take out of this, and you're comparing yourself. Like we said, it's a measuring stick game. How do you compare against one of the best teams in the state of Massachusetts? And so far, Westwood has kept up, and it's been a great sign for them as the season's going to progress. We're still early on the season. This is game 3, so
still plenty of game left here. 4 minutes left and counting. As that puck sent down and icing called. And we're going to get a face-off. 3 minutes, 55 remaining.
Exactly, though. There's still plenty of time left. This is anyone's game.
This is the type of game that, I could see going to overtime.
I could see it, too.
We've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, of course. And, it's like we said, this is a type of game that, this is far from over, folks. It's 3:55 right now on the score clock, but I don't expect it to be a 4-minute game here left. I expect this to go a little longer. Both coaches are going to be, trying to, Westwood, or for Medfield, they're trying to drain out the clock. But Westwood, they're going to throw everything they have at it.
Martin finishing his check on the near side. Lewis comes after it and comes away with it. Picks it up behind the net. He's going to send it back to Martin. Martin looking for the front. Just missed connecting with Remiza. Medfield working up the other end. A big hit there at center ice. Number 10 for Medfield, number 10 for Westwood. That was Fengler for Westwood and Dixon for Medfield. Medfield has the puck down low. That goes off their stick. Remiza comes away with it, sends it up from Martin. Goes off Martin's skate. Ref is saying icing, but called off. Westwood comes away with it. Unable to find the oncoming players.
So, Morgan, the question I have to ask now that we're under 3 minutes is, strategically wise, thinking about where you are, the standings, everything has to do. Is there a point where you pull the goalie if you're Westwood?
Oh, yeah. Head coach Matt Siebert's going to do that every time. He's trying to win the game. And that sends the right message to the kids. We come here to play to win. We're not here to try and, make it close games where we lose. They want to win. So that is how that's their MO, and I love every bit of that. Where I've seen, when I was behind the bench with those guys, we've seen teams where we were up 1 goal and they did not pull goalies. And I'm like, wow, it's interesting.
And so if you are Coach Siebert, when are you thinking you're going to pull your goalie?
I'm thinking you probably want to mix it with a timeout. Mm-hmm. So 2 minutes 40, I think, is too much. But when you get to a minute 30, right around that is what I'm thinking. And I want to get a timeout, and I want to get the goalie off with a face-off in the offensive zone where you can talk through what you're looking to do. you know, and it's typically that conversation is, you know, who's the personnel? You want them to get a breather on the timeout as well. That's why the timeouts are important. As Blaney working it inside, that's knocked away. But also, who's that sixth person and what are you looking for them to do? Typically, they're going to be in front of the net just trying to create a screen or get a nice garbage goal, which, you know, they all add up the same. There's no pictures on the scorecard.
Under 2 now, and Joyce is still in the net.
Oh, that was a hard shot by Donovan, saved by Knee. As Wolverines getting some good looks here. Goes towards the front, shot on net and saved by Knee. And you're seeing some battles going on as Wolverines got to get away from those. You can't take a penalty this late in the game when you need to get the next one.
Right, that'd be a crucial penalty there for either team. And
so I see Coach Siebert talking to Nolan Lewis, which he might go all the way to the faceoff. This is where you get more time too, is he'll wait till he gets to the faceoff and call a timeout. So watch here as he may call the faceoff. He might say timeout right now. Right there, yep. Nope, so no timeout. Okay, so
there
he
it
does,
is.
yeah. So he calls it there, and that's a smart move because you just got an extra 25 seconds there.
Right.
Which, for the last minute 46, you're going to probably want a combination of Lewis and Donovan out there. So that gives Donovan that extra time to
breathe. Yeah.
And, you know, we've seen that Donovan shot. He can score from anywhere. So you got a Donovan that's caught up with, caught his wind. You throw Lewis on there, it's almost like a power play. So.
Yeah, and Donovan's had some good looks today so far. We've seen a couple shots of his that were really close, just didn't quite get there. So I expect to see it go through Donovan and Lewis. I expect to see a combination of both. So we have a good one shaping up here late in the third. But you know, for Westwood, it's a matter of you know, strategy and what you do here, and you know, when you pull that goalie and, you know, keeping the pressure on. If you can get this into overtime, you know, it's anyone's game at that point.
Yeah. It's 4-on-4 too, so it's a different game in overtime. It's not the 5-on-5 that you see all in regulation. It's 4-on-4. Opens the ice up. You also have the long change that's factored into overtime as well. So it's a whole different dynamic when it comes to regulation overtime games. And here we go. So on the ice for the Wolverines, see Ryan Ramiza, Matt Donovan, Luke Martin, Connor Blaney. On defense, Ryan Sullivan, and then Nolan Lewis up at the point. So they're going to work it just like a power play, and they'll probably put an extra body in front of the net. It starts with the face-off, which is critical, to win it back, and they do. Blaney with the shot, save, rebound, just wide. That was a clear win right off the draw, which created that offensive look, and then off the ceiling goes the puck, which will get a face-off, but I mean, he couldn't have asked for a better clean win. Shot on net and then a rebound.
Exactly what you want to draw up if you're the Wolverines there, you know. Be there to get that rebound. That's going to be key here. Can you get your rebounds off your shots?
Medfield comes away with the face-off. They got the open net. Going to backhand it towards. That goes wide, but they have a player who's streaking on the puck. Nolan Lewis there to protect the net front and gives it off to Matt Donovan, who's got some speed. Working it into the neutral zone, using that speed, and well played by Medfield to keep that at bay. Westwood gets it in, but Medfield gets the stick on it. Shot attempt towards the net is going to be an icing, which will give Westwood a face-off in the offensive zone. It's, 25, 30 seconds of rest back.
Great.
Get right back to battle.
Yeah, and it's great defense by the Wolverines. There are two opportunities for the Warriors to potentially put it in the net and, seal this game. But, defense was huge there. That's going to be key. You don't want to give up one of those open net goals.
Matt Donovan back on the draw. He's got Blaney right behind him. One back to Lewis. Lewis shot. That puck's deflected. Donovan picks up the loose puck. Working it inside, knocked away. Shot blocked. Shot by Donovan. Saved by Knee. And the puck loose. Ends up in the near side corner. Trying to send it towards the net. The Wolverines, but Medfield has their sticks right in the lanes and take away that pass look. And we're going to get another icing, which will bring it back. But Westwood has certainly had their opportunities. Just not able to get it in the back of the net.
They've had good shots all game. It's just, when you got a goalie like Knee in there, you're going to have a tough time no matter what.
Yeah, it's the second and third opportunities where you got to bang those in.
Exactly. We talked about the rebounds. And they've gotten good rebound opportunities. They've just missed them there. You know, it's when you have a good goaltender like that, they're able to get those rebounds.
And Medfield wins the draw, and they send that out of play, which will bring the faceoff right back to where it was. With 40 seconds remaining here in the game. Same personnel on the ice. Puck won by Westwood. Shot. Score! Matty Donovan! On a shot from a win on the faceoff by Blaney! And we are knotted up at 2! The captain, Matt Donovan. We talked about that, Evan. Right before the timeout is when you got a Matt Donovan shot, anything can happen. He buried a game winner last year versus Dover Shearborn in overtime, and he ties it up with 37 seconds here at the Ice House.
Yeah, I was going to reference that Dover Sherborne game beforehand. You know, we saw that game, 2 goals in the last minute, one by Matty Donovan there to win it. So, you know, still this game's far from over. You know, Medfield's a good team. Anything can happen. But, you know, if you're Westwood, can you capitalize here late?
Wow. And puck sent right into Westwood territory. 30 seconds remaining here in regulation. Sullivan battling for it on the far side, and he's going to look to just kill some clock, send this into overtime. Smart play by Sullivan. He's taken off about 10 as he sends it up to Willett. Willett works it out, going to send it in on net. And he gets a face-off with about 7 seconds, so that's a big play by Willett. Wolverine's going to have a face-off with plenty of time to get a shot on net.
His 4th goal of the season, 2nd goal of the game from Blaney at 14-22.
So 7 seconds. Wolverine's going to send Matty Donovan and Connor Blaney back out there with Nolan Lewis. And a stalemate on the draw. Donovan sends it to the front of the net and just sat there for a second before Medfield jumped on it. And that is going to do it in regulation. So regulation not enough here at the Ice House. We will go to overtime, 5-minute overtime, 4-on-4 action. Sudden death, which will be the long change. So we will see Westwood will be shooting on the far side, on the right side. Medfield will be shooting on the left side.
What a game we got, Morgan. You know, we couldn't have asked for a better game here at the Canton Ice House this early on in the season. And these are 2 really well put together teams. You know, Medfield has played a great game. Westwood's played a great game. It's going to be a defensive battle, but, you know, Westwood's getting those opportunities late. You saw a lot of shots on net there in the last 5 minutes of play. So, you know, for Westwood, it's about keeping on that pressure and, you know, just keeping moving fast. But for the Warriors, you know, the big thing for them is playing their game. They are a fast team. They are a physical team. And when they stay on that physicality and when they play with that sort of physicality, they've given the Wolverines trouble. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what we do 4-on-4 here. It's always fun when we get an overtime game here at the Canton Ice House. We've had a few in our time doing hockey coverage, and it's always a fun game. I expect this to be just as fun.
Westwood's got some great skill and speed that fare very well on a bigger ice surface when you have the 4-on-4. So it'll be interesting to see how that fares up against Medfield's iron. So Medfield going to send out, looks like Dixon, as well as Abramson, and number 24, Owen Mix. They need another player on the ice. I don't see their 4th player. Westwood's going to have Blaney, Fengler, Sullivan, Donovan. And then the 4th player from Medfield, looks like it's Fezenden. So here we go, 4-on-4, 5 minutes of overtime, and we have free hockey right now. Medfield comes away with the draw, and they work it back into their defensive zone to set up their breakout. Possession, so critical when it comes to 4-on-4. And it's a nice clean breakout as Medfield works it into Westwood territory with some speed. Fengler does a good job of forcing the attacker off to the side, and then no one there at the point as the puck goes into the neutral zone. Medfield going to work it back to regroup. Matt Donovan on the forecheck forced it all the way back behind the goal line, and he's going to come off for Lewis to come on. And that's critical too, is making sure you're taking quick shifts in overtime so you are fresh. And the worst thing you could do is be on the ice for a minute, 2 minutes, especially you've already played, you know, regulation amount of hockey, quick shifts are going to be key.
And we've seen Medfield, they've controlled possession so far the first minute of overtime. They have not given Westwood, Westwood gets a stick on it there, but, you know, they've managed to run the clock down. We're now down to under 4 minutes.
Yep. So Westwood gets their first possession over overtime, and Lewis going to work it across the red line into Medfield territory. Working towards the middle of the ice. Passes it over to Martin, saved by Knee.
Huge save by Knee there.
What a look, and a big-time save by Knee. What vision by Lewis to even find Martin there as they were crisscrossing on the entry and then crisscrossed by the net. Medfield possession, but battled to the middle of the ice by Ramiza. Ramiza out there with Matt Donovan, and that puck gets knocked loose. Dempsey sends it back over to Colin Johnson. We have 2 freshmen on the ice right now, folks. What a sight to see when it comes to the depth for the Wolverines.
Tells
now
you
Matt Donovan.
Tells you the trust Coach Siebert has in that freshman class.
Sure does. And Matt Donovan takes a hit, and we're going to get a penalty.
That's huge for the Wolverines.
A power play with 2 minutes 56 remaining. Wolverines going to have the man up.
But, you know, the big thing we saw the last power play, Morgan, the Wolverines got a penalty too, and they got it evened up at 4-4. Well, now it's a 4-on-3 situation, but the thing here too is you want to play smart hockey. You don't want to have any mistakes. Play clean, play your game clean, but play it physical and hard.
So, Evan, if you remember, Westwood Hopkinton went to overtime last year, and they won in overtime on a power play by Nolan Lewis.
I do.
So you got more space now with Medfield's only got 3 players. Westwood has 4 on a bigger ice surface when you have less players out there. Medfield wins the draw, and they're going to send it down the pond.
And Morgan, the thing too after this is if Medfield gets the penalty kill here, it's only a 56-second game by that point for both teams.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a close one here at the end as Westwood looking to work it in.
Sullivan is going to curl, sends it over to Ramiza. That jumps over his stick as the ice very choppy right now.
That's right. We did not
sends
have
it over to Lewis. This is where Lewis scored his OT winner in the Hoptown game. Was right on the right side half wall. Shot by Sullivan, saved by Knee. Nice glove there by the junior goaltender, Kevin Knee.
Kevin Knee's had a great game so far this game. And, yeah, you mentioned the ice surface there, Morgan. No, we didn't go to break there. No Zamboni, as you saw. So it's a bit of a different surface. It's a bit of a different challenge here as the Wolverines, look to close this game out. And we're going to have a...
So they're saying that this side, near side scoreboard's the right one because the other one just has the time of day on it.
Gotcha.
Clean win back by Blaney. Lewis sends it over far side to Sullivan, walking in, shot, blocked. Sullivan able to jump in on the loose puck. Was trying to send it up far side, and that's iced by Medfield. No whistle because they're on the PK as Westwood going to go back and get it.
That, I believe Lewis. Blaney got a bit of a stick on it and actually deflected it in, so.
Yeah. So Lewis working near side, looking on the back door, shot, saved by Knee. He found Blaney streaking, and then a big save by Knee. Looking again for Blaney, but wrapped up by a couple defenders. Blaney looking near side to Lewis. Shot by Lewis. He scores! Nolan Lewis sends the Wolverines with the victory over the Warriors here at the Canton Ice House. And he's got his players swamping him.
He's done it again, Morgan. Another year, another Nolan Lewis overtime winner.
The captain, Nolan Lewis, top right corner as he worked it into the goaltender and found the back of the net. And the Wolverines are victorious here at the Ice House.
Huge win for the Wolverines over reigning defending state champion Medfield Warriors. What a game.
Unbelievable to go back and, with a minute left and to tie it. And then to be able to keep battling and then earn a power play and then to capitalize, which we've been talking about, is capitalizing. So incredible win. And that is going to do it here at the Ice House. Wolverines victorious 3-2 over the Medfield Warriors. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you soon. Happy holidays. We'll see you on the next one.